welcome to the Sabrosa Podcast. We're back with another episode, a very special episode. We have Willow in the house from Fabricated Lifestyles. Welcome.
I want to thank the Sabrosa House Podcast for the invitation.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the intro. That was very nice of you.
Thank you. I am really excited for today's episode because, usually on our platform, we usually talk about music and we usually talk about the business of things, the way that artists are entrepreneurs and the way they brand themselves. But today we have a business owner of not one, not two, but 3 shops, entrepreneur, makes his own brand, has his own everything. So today's episode is really special because we're actually speaking to a person that actually is an entrepreneur today. So thank you for coming. I'm really excited for today's episode.
I'm very, very excited myself.
So let's just get right into it because, we all know that we don't got time to waste here. Talk to us a little bit about the brand Fabricated Lifestyles. How did this come about?
The name came to me in 2013.
10 years.
Yeah, so it's 10 years, 2023.
Wow.
Yes. We're having a 10-year anniversary in Puerto Rico soon. We actually are going into a new phase in our business, so I'm very excited. It's gonna be a lot more organization. We're going to be a lot more driven, brand driven.
Okay.
But getting back to, we started in 2013. First, I started with photography. I taught myself photography. Then I went into graphic design. And then I did some silk screening to start my own clothing brand.
Okay.
I was doing it in my apartment. Personally, I leave that to the silk screener. Lito will tell you, how difficult it is. It's not as easy as you think. But I mean, it was good to know because, you're not ignorant when you go into a printer. You know what you're talking about instead of just learning why you're visiting the printer.
And then also, you just are not just printing things on or just slapping things on. You know what goes behind it. So if anything goes wrong, you know how to fix it, right?
Yes. And I'm able to describe a little better what I need because sometimes it's difficult to talk to someone if you don't know the language. I even took sewing classes. I used to sew my labels on my hats in the very beginning.
Wow.
And I mean, and I leave that to the seamstress too because that's definitely an art form and I respect it.
Shout out to the seamstress. Yeah. Fun fact, my father was a farmer in the Dominican Republic. Before he owned land, he was a seamstress. So I grew up. That's why I'm into fashion and I just love the process of creating clothes. My dad knows how to make jeans from scratch. I've seen him do it. Put denim together and just make a pair of jeans. It's the dopest thing ever. I
like the way you describe it because you're very passionate about it. I wasn't that passionate about it.
I'm telling you, my dad had a sewing machine and he had he still has this scissor. I'm 30. Yeah. He has this big steel scissor that it's this big and it cuts any fabric. Yeah. And I'm telling you, just the respect I have for the seamstress is insane. Because my dad has explained to me what he's been able to create, the jobs he's been able to get just because he knew how to do that. It's a skill.
It's a skill set that they don't teach anymore. I think back in the day they used to set in school wise you would learn that was a thing.
Till this day, whenever I have a button or something get messed up, most people would take it to the cleaner to get it fixed. I purposely hold it and I take it to my dad and I help and I because he's older now and he's blind in one eye, so he can't put the needle through because it's really little, you can't really see it. So I'll help him put the needle through and I'll I just like that. It's dope.
See, the thing with the States, people you say your bun broke. Some people just throw it out and buy a new one.
Right.
But in other countries, people just fix it. Yeah, America has this consumption, I don't want to say issue, but we consume a lot. But we have the financial means to do it.
And it's a very, the fashion, it's what is it that they call the fast food fashion or something?
Fast fashion.
Yeah, fast fashion. They just making some things out of, it's so oversaturated that they're making things out of like plastic now, right? Like clothing. Can't they make like shirts out of plastic?
I think you can make shirts out of hemp. I'm not
There
sure
you
too
go.
sure about plastic. But yeah, they have hemp shirts. I mean, it used to be like, from what I understand, I've seen on YouTube. I don't quote me if it's accurate, but before everything was made out of hemp. But then they banned hemp at one point.
Why? Do you think it was bad for the skin or something?
Maybe it was just more corporations.
Maybe for people,
The cotton market.
for it not to last long as.
It's probably easier to grow hemp than cotton. But then you have the cotton manufacturers that can be in business. I mean, don't quote me on this, but yeah, it's all business.
The tree, like the people, this was the paper business.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's when because hemp was legal, and then that's when they used the term marijuana to blame like the weed on Mexicans, like coming across the border with weed and shit.
Wow.
And then they criminalized marijuana and anything that had to do with it, like hemp.
The plant.
So you couldn't make anything with hemp anymore.
So who passed the Farmers Act to make hemp legal again was Trump. And that's why we have like CBD now. You couldn't even study marijuana like scientifically because it was banned in the United States. You could study cocaine in the United States, but you weren't able to study marijuana. So now you have all these studies coming out, and we have CBD, we have Delta 8, we have Delta 9.
It's interesting, and then that all intertwines with what you have in the shops.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so it created a whole new market.
Yeah.
And now, like, slowly marijuana is becoming legal.
Yeah.
Like recreationally.
Yeah, I mean, what a time to be alive. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I mean, we had like dare classes and all this stuff, and then now you go to the grocery store. Like,
it's
a different time, and for sure.
There's a lot of municipal benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm for it. It's like anything else, you abuse it too much, it's not good for you. It's like alcohol, you drink too much, it's not good for you.
Exactly. But let's go back to the beginning a little bit. And how did you start the Fabricated Lifestyle brand? Did you start off with like a group of friends? Did you start off, did you create the brand like by yourself? How did it come about? You said it was in 2013 and you started like studying basically how to have your own brand. But at what point
this is when like Instagram was getting hot.
Right.
And
that's when it was like follow for follow, like for like.
Yeah.
And it was like easy to get mad
and
followers.
Then, everyone was like a photographer at one point.
Right.
And that's another profession like I respect. Like I do a little photography, but don't call me for a wedding shoot.
Nah, honestly, you guys will see in this episode, we went to your shop and you have some dope pieces in there that you shot yourself, so you're talented.
But I do it for my purposes and an artistic view. But, for someone who wants to do like weddings, like photographer who does weddings and stuff like that, I definitely respect that industry. I'd rather call myself an artist than a photographer.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of photographers now, and there's a lot of dope talent out there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of different interpretations of photography that I've been seeing lately. I actually ran into this young lady. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's a photographer, but not only is she a photographer, she creates sets. Yo.
Nice. Yeah.
Yo. Bro, I've been tapped in watching because, there's certain photography that it's like, it just captures you. Like, you're like you lose your breath. That's what I felt when I saw that. I was like, she makes those sets and she takes the shots.
Like, if I had a choice to do that or do what I'm doing now, I'd rather be doing photography, to be honest with you. But in my taste.
How is it, like, because you're younger, like, you're not an old man, so how is it being a younger person and then having your own business and then balancing having a business with like life, because you travel back and forth from Puerto Rico?
You take on a lot of risk. It doesn't look as glamorous as it looks like on Instagram.
Right.
It's a lot of hard work. I had a hotel job. I was telling him earlier, I was working 24 hours a day, just to create funding. Just to get a little more to the story, like I opened my first shop, I had $6,000 in my bank account.
Wow.
And $3,000 went to the lease, And the first, I mean, 3,000 went for the first month and into the deposit. So that's even $3,000. And then in Puerto Rico, you got to pay someone to get you permits. So that was 4,000. So, you know, but I knew my job was giving a lot of overtime. So I was just like, all right, cool.
You're like, yeah, I'm going to just keep working. And that's a perfect example of using, you know, having a regular job. Like, it's okay to have a job and work on your dreams at the same time. Like, that's perfectly okay.
Yes, 100%.
You know,
100%.
that's a perfect example of that.
But you're going to work hard at your job. And if you're paying hourly, you just take on as many hours as you can because, I mean, you could either be out with your boys or you could just be making this money and then look into your future. Yeah,
but work hard. You know, it's important for people. It's okay for people because I feel like, you know, would you agree that there's a lot of misconception of like, I want to, you know, F real life. I want to work on my dreams. Yeah. And it's like, no, you have to exist in the real world. And I feel like a smart person can use, you know, it's okay to work and then work on your dreams at the same time. Like,
people need to start like manifesting,
you
working
know?
Hard.
Right.
You know, people manifesting what their goals are, but like
it's not just gonna happen. Yeah, like you're just gonna snap if you gotta put in that work.
Manifesting.
You know, you gotta put it, and that's a perfect example of that. And I'm happy that you said that because, you know, a lot of the times, you know, people in creative spaces or people that want to open businesses or are in school or etc. They're just under the impression that they just have to be. And everything's just gonna come together for them. Yeah, they don't have to put any type of effort into the goal. And that's not real.
And then, you're 100% right. And then once you start working hard, it's weird because
you gotta work.
Things start falling into your place. I started receiving money from places I never thought I would receive from. You know what I mean? Like things started happening.
So tell us a little bit about that, like support. How did that look like when you started the business? Like you probably received support from individuals or different businesses that you probably didn't expect, right? You're like, whoa, like that's cool, right?
Yeah. And support from people. Like I used to work at a hotel and we had like regulars.
Right.
And I had a regular that she gave me $5,000. She was like, look, you know, I've seen you a long time and you've always been working hard and I see what you're doing. You know, I want to give this to you.
Yo, listen, there's people and it's crazy because a lot of the times,
I knew her name. It's
shout out to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Because sometimes you see support sometimes come from people that you wouldn't at least expect.
I mean, but she has it, so you know what I mean. Like I appreciate it, and she had it, and she gave it to me, and I didn't ask for it. Like I said, at the end of the day, I don't know whether she had like a tax write-off or something. Hey. But I'm not hating, but I appreciate the money. But you know, some people don't have it, but they support me in buying a shirt, or just tagging me on something, or like posting my story on their stories. It doesn't have to be monetary, you know. But that's the support I've gotten, and that has driven me to work harder.
Yeah, and that's important because, you know, sometimes have you ever felt that you were in a space where you're like, damn, like not everything is clear.
Oh yeah,
things are cloudy. Oh yeah.
Right? I think the last 2 years for me were cloudy. To be honest, I can imagine.
How was it adjusting during and after the pandemic?
Because
as a business owner.
All right, so like I said, I started with a little bit of money, and then finally when I got on my feet was March of the pandemic. And I'm like, cause spring break was down there, people were spending money in the shop. I was over here just working in New York, and I was watching the numbers. I'm like, oh, we're getting back. Like this is like really happening. And then the pandemic came.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. To be honest with you. And
it's like you're on a high, and then you're reaching a level of a high,
euphoria.
And you're like.
And then like and the thing about it, it's like a pandemic. It's just like fuck. Like what the fuck's a pandemic?
Like, what
like,
is this? Yeah,
is this life?
One of these.
Like
I feel like you weren't alone in that feeling.
Yeah. That it was a terrible time. You know, but you know they had the PPP loans and stuff like that, so I was able to expand my business a little more. So I took out my lease in New Jersey.
Okay.
And then that's when I started working on the New Jersey shop.
New York.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. Yeah. I had to come back home and open one.
And you literally opened it in a very staple of you opened it on 60th. Like it's right by Bergen Line. That's like a very perfect busy. It's a busy staple of an area.
The police station.
Yeah, and then the police station is right there too. That's funny. Have you ever gotten any like slack for being right there? Like, have people like been like
no
shop or anything?
I mean, I keep my shop clean. We keep clean business.
Of course, but I'm just saying, like, you know, because Western New York, at the end of the day, like, I went to school out there, so people are gonna like hang out outside if it's hot. You know, have they ever like?
If I was younger, that would probably be the issue.
But they won't do that.
But the guys I work for, I mean, I guess they don't have too many friends. Because my shop's in Puerto Rico, they have their friends come over and hang out.
Right.
You know.
But Puerto Rico's a totally different vibe. I feel like that would be the vibe, right?
Yeah, that is definitely the vibe. We always get people because the way my shops are set up, it's sort of like we have social areas where you could just sit down and just hang out. We always have music playing.
I like the vibe. We went there, right?
Yeah.
It was dope.
So if you like that vibe, like Puerto Rico vibe is like amazing. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because it's the beach 2 blocks away, everyone's chilling, hanging out. And you could just sit down and chit chat. You know, we have people who don't even know. They just sit down and start talking. And you know, I learn, like working in a hotel, it's all about customer service. So I try to teach that in my staff.
Right.
So, you know, always be presentable. You know, always say hello, goodbye.
Customer service goes a long way, especially with a person like me. That I was a server. I've done bartending. I've done hospitality work. I've worked in all kinds of different types of hospitality work. So I've dealt with all different kinds of people, all different types of financial classes, social classes, all types, you know, and just me being me, the way that I am naturally, like, thank you, holding the door, goodbye, you know, acknowledging presence and just being how I am. That has gotten me a long way, yo.
You learn a lot. And
for
then,
real.
But those are life experiences.
Right. And then I'll see like like somebody else being not how they could truly be, how they are, like say with me. Yeah. And then I'm like, yo, you're missing out. Like that person's actually pretty dope, you know?
Yeah. And something like I was saying earlier, I don't think sometimes people, like it took me a while to build that communication with people. Being like, what is that called? Articulate?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I didn't know that when I was younger. And going back to you saying about, you know, you have to work hard. It's okay to have a job. And it's okay to go to college. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't learn how to read until I got to college.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, I knew, like, words like cat, duh, you know what I mean? Like, but when I got to college, I got, like, on a minority program. Okay. And then you hear these kids talk from, like, people who came, like, well off. Or I won't say well off, but had a great education system. And you hear them talking, you're like, what the fuck?
You're like, what?
Yeah, what are you saying? Yeah.
Yeah. They're not that articulate, you mean? Or they're too articulate?
They're very too articulate.
Yeah. Like, they're using these huge words. You're like, what?
Yeah. So I had a roommate, and he told me, he's like, yo, you know, you should buy a newspaper. And whatever word you don't understand, you know, just look it up in a dictionary. Wow. And, yeah. So college is not bad. You know what I mean? Some people have come out of high school with a college education. I didn't. You know what I mean? I came out of high school with an 8th grade education. And not blaming anything on my high school teachers. I mean, it was just me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and that's good that you're taking accountability for that, but I feel like, you know, there has to be some kind of responsibility for the school too.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You know,
yeah.
They have to take some kind of accountability. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like I didn't understand the difficult math, like trig and calculus and things like that. And so I got to college and I learned and I passed all those classes with an A in high school. But it didn't click until college. I'll never forget it. Mr. Peterson, if you ever see this, shout out to you. Because of you, I'm nasty at math now. And it didn't click. Like, I don't know. This man, like, it just really depends. And I feel maybe you had a teacher that it just...
Yeah, I had great...
Like, it clicked. It really depends. It depends on who.
I had some great professors. And then, like you said, like, what made me think back, I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about in high school. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you need a little more extra years of education. Yeah. I don't knock it. Don't knock a job. Don't knock college.
And don't knock like educating ourselves. Like, don't, you know, I say this a lot on the pod and we're going to say it again. Don't ever stop being the student. Like, you don't always have to be the teacher. People always want to know everything, but they don't want to stop and learn something real quick. Yeah. Like, you know, and we never stop being students. I mean, I'm always down to learn. I was
telling him earlier, I'm
always down to learn. And I don't know too much. There's no such thing as knowing too much. You know, there's always room for improvement, right?
And to cut costs, you might have to learn some things as well.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that. How is it managing multiple, staffs in different locations, and you're not physically there. So how is that process? Like, you have to really, right? You have to hire people that you trust.
Yeah, you have to hire people to trust. That's 100%. And you have to just trust people. You got to roll the dice. Like, there's nothing you can do.
But how do you...
People, that's like the one question everyone asks is, like, you trust them.
That's a little...
Because you never know a person's perfect line. He could be up front, be like seems like a good guy. You look at his resume, he looks like a good guy.
Yeah. You got to give the benefit of the doubt often.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's and just hope you get lucky and you get like a good employee.
Yeah, but you're a
I don't
good
want to say
dude,
employee,
Willow,
like team member.
You're a good dude, so you probably judge character, like,
Yes.
Right?
So,
Have you ever had an employee like throw a party in one of your shops or something? And, like,
I mean, to, like, going back to like the Puerto Rico shop, like I had like cops. I had the city subpoena me for video cameras. Like, at one point, my shop was like really hectic.
What?
Because I hate to use the word gentrification, but the neighborhood was changing.
Okay.
And I was in that gray area when I got my lease.
Right.
Like, I saw opportunity in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And I was in that gray area, and it was pretty violent. And I mean, Puerto Rico, it's different. People like to.
Yeah, it was a different ball game than
Jersey. So I had like, unfortunately, it's like people who hang out in my shop and they'll have guns.
Yeah.
Knives.
Wow, that's interesting because it's like anyone gets upset.
I had a staff member that would bring that.
Wow. Yeah.
But I wasn't there because I wasn't able to afford to fly back and forth at that time because I just.
And this is the person that's supposed to be taking care of your business.
He's one of them. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
But he still he actually does a podcast now.
Wow.
So we still have a great relationship.
So that's good. Sometimes people change.
I mean, because
for opportunity.
Because I was that youth. You know what I mean? I was that person. You know what I mean? Like, I can't blame him. You know what I mean? Like.
But that's really cool of you, Willow, because not a lot of bosses are gonna think like that. Not a lot of people that oversee staff, they're not gonna see it like that. They're just gonna see them as a liability and cut. You know what I mean? So that's dope.
That is dope, but then you take your chances.
Right, you take your chances.
Yeah. So,
how do you know when to take a chance, when to not? You just kind of go with your gut. It's like a gut thing. Or is it a conversation?
Maybe I saw potential.
That's good.
I was more like I see a lot of potential in him, and if I could steer him the right way, we could do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And we're doing the podcast now. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's becoming a beneficial relationship between both of us.
Tell us a little bit about this podcast. We support podcasts because we are a podcast. So what is the name of the podcast?
It's called Fab Talk. We're like on episode 5 now.
Okay.
The host is Rico. He likes to call himself Rico Suave.
Shout out to Rico Suave.
So it's basically about artists, entrepreneurs, like similar to you guys.
So
yes.
We're kind of along the same realms. I'm gonna have to pull up to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, we even had like people who work on that. We interview
we asked Puerto Rico, Lino.
Yeah, you should come out. I mean, the space is yours, like I said.
Stay
anytime.
Tuned, Puerto Rico, Sabrosa Podcast.
We got the setup and everything, so
listen,
you don't have to bring any equipment. We got the mics.
Count us in.
We got the lights. We got the cameras.
Listen, we support that. That's dope. So you guys are interviewing talent in Puerto Rico. Talent,
entrepreneurs. Okay. We even had a person in the marijuana industry.
Nice. So like a connoisseur type.
Yeah, yes. And he was talking about the new strains that were coming out. It's called Boricana.
And is it Spanish?
It's Spanish. Boricana is Spanish. It's like Boricua, but Boricana.
Okay.
So it's
and
like
then the
cannabis.
podcast is in Spanish, right?
Oh, no, it's in English.
It's in English, okay.
So it's, we're pretty much, me and him are like Puerto Ricans for the diaspora. Like people who left the island.
Okay.
But are coming back. So, we don't speak much Spanish. Mm-hmm. We speak like more Spanglish. Oh, yeah. He'll say some things in Spanish and some things in English.
Yeah, but if you're speaking to somebody that just speaks Spanish, they're gonna understand what you're saying, kind of.
Yeah. No,
so that's all that matters.
we had a podcast with a reggaeton singer from out there. His name is Luna. Yeah. And Henry Rico would ask him questions in English and he'll reply in Spanish.
Yeah.
So like it was communication still going on, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's like understand each other. And
like he understands the Spanish and he understands the English, but they're speaking in 2 different languages.
actually, I had a question for you because, we're tapped in here at the Sabrosa Podcast. And I saw on your story that you saw the Bad Bunny concert in the gas station.
Yes.
Tell me everything. How was that?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I was actually leaving the next day back to New Jersey for New Year's. I saw your
story. I was like, he's really there.
Yeah. And I mean, I was super happy to leave. I was a little before that. Because it was supposed to be a music video.
Okay. It was like on top of a gas station.
Yeah. Oh, right? It is a music video, but it turned out to be a concert.
Arcángel, right?
Arcángel.
Yeah.
Arcángel, Bad Bunny.
It so lit. Yeah. And where you were standing, I'm like, yo, you're right there. Yeah. Like,
my shop is 2 blocks away.
Your shop is in a...
It's in a really, area. Decent, good area. I won't say decent, good area.
That's dope. So you had Bad Bunny down the block in performance. Right before you left Puerto Rico. I would have been leaving Puerto Rico with like the Colgate smile.
Yeah, I was. I was disappointed leaving because, I mean, New Year's in Puerto Rico is different than here. Over there, it's like a whole celebration. Like there's activities going on every day. I feel like here, New Year's and Christmas, you just go see a tree lighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Over there's so many festivals. There's a lot of events going on. Like it's an event every day.
It's like more
till 3 Kings Day. Like it doesn't end.
They're outside.
Yeah.
Damn, I gotta go. Yo, I gotta go. I'm going to Puerto Rico. Not I have to go. I'm going to Puerto Rico in 2023. Manifested today on the Sabrosa Podcast. We're gonna be there. Because I definitely want to go out there. I like to. I don't know. I'm Dominican. My parents are Dominican, but I was born here, right? So I've been to Dominican Republic several times, and I've never been to Puerto Rico. I went to Puerto Rico, but I was in the airport, so it doesn't count.
The neighborhood I'm in is a lot of Dominicans.
Really?
Yeah, it's mainly Dominicans.
Yeah.
In that area.
I mean, this is like I love going there and like the country, like being outside, the colmado, like playing dominoes with the presidente, sitting on the plastic chair, just chilling. Like it's dope, man. Like just the energy. So I just love like being
the Caribbean vibe.
The Caribbean vibe, like, and there's like somebody passes with the little icy things, and then you're just eating ice cream, just chilling on the chair, just talking about stories, and it's like dope, man. But I just love that vibe. So is that why you decided to open a shop in Puerto Rico, you think? Because of the energy?
The energy, I saw opportunity, and I wanted to get out of Jersey. If I would open my shop in Jersey, my first shop, I would have been still in Jersey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My life wouldn't have changed much.
Sometimes you have to do something different to get different results.
Yeah. And then I'm a lot happy for the decision. I still live in New Jersey. I'm most of the time here because I have the shop in Jersey. It's still kind of young.
Yeah.
And but soon I'll be spending a little more time in Puerto Rico. I feel like there's more opportunity out there for me when comes to artists, being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, most definitely.
Meeting the right people.
Right.
I'm just not in those circles yet in New Jersey, New York yet.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's a key word.
Yes.
I mean, you will be, man. You're a good person, and you have a very good head on your shoulders, and you're very I feel like you're very optimistic, and you have a very good energy, and you give opportunity and things like that, and people like you need to be highlighted. And you're gonna I'm sure after this you're gonna have way more conversations with other people, and more people are gonna want to know more things. But I definitely want to give you your flowers while you're here sitting in the studio today. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for giving opportunities to younger individuals to have a job, or people to come on your podcast and showcase their art, and just being dope, because our experience with you has been nothing but great. So thank you, man.
It's definitely been a great experience, great journey, and as I keep going, I like to see people grow, and it feels like, I guess not seeing my child, but you see someone's maturity as an artist, you're just wow, man, that's so great. It kind of makes you happy for the individual and the individual artist, even as a group too.
Right. Do you have any kids?
No, not yet. Okay. I'm working on it.
Are you married?
Nah.
Okay. How old are you?
Take a guess.
30. I don't know, 33.
Nah. Let's just say the brand's 10 years old. I'm a little older than that.
37.
I could be a little older than that. But let's just stop there.
37. Because 37 is the new 27. It don't matter. Age ain't nothing but a number.
No, it's totally true. Like, I feel like
fine wine, you only get better with time. Willow,
even
come
more
on.
artists is even when like people, they're like, all these young dudes. Like you when you talk like that as an artist, or like I'm old school rap, you know, you're kind of pushing a age demographic away from your art. You know what I mean? When you talk that way,
Right.
you know, it should just be all about the art.
Yeah, it is all about the art, but you know, I just like to get to know you guys a little bit better, because you never know. You never know who might identify with that. And I don't think age, and that's the thing, that's why I ask these questions, because it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, and it doesn't matter how old someone is, whether they're married, whether they're not, because we should just focus on the art, and that stigma should just not be there.
It shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there, and it's not going to be there here. It's just not. We don't allow
that's
that.
when I listen to like people my age, and they like kind of pushing away the younger crowd. I'm like, dude, you were that wild individual.
Yeah, no. And it's a collaborative thing, and you know there's always gonna be a new person coming in and something new
art
and that's what inspires us. That's what inspiration is about. Like we pull from other things. There's a reason why you started Fabricated Lifestyles. There's a reason why I started the Sabrosa Podcast. There's a reason why this person started rapping. There's a reason why this person started photography. We're all inspired from something else.
Yes.
And people forget that sometimes.
Yes. They become Yoda or something. I think,
yeah.
You know everything. Obviously, you have life experiences.
Life and trauma has a very big... Fear and trauma has a very big, reason why people don't go to their max potential, because they've been through this or they've been through that. And I'm a strong advocate for saying F that. Like, do what you got to do today, because tomorrow ain't promise.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I'm a true believer. If you have like 2 hands and 2 feet, you should be
out there moving and shaking.
Working hard. Yes.
You should be moving and shaking. Like, hard work pays off. Consistency pays off. And that's the game right now.
There was times like my bank account was like all 3 of my bank accounts were at negative.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
But that's part of being a business owner. Like, it's not always going to be up flowers. You know, there are going to be hard times, but what matters is, right, what you do with it. And
then we opened a 3rd shop in Puerto Rico. And the reason I opened that shop was because I'm like now I understand when people say like you should own your own property.
Right.
Or at least your own commercial property, because no one can kick you out. Like, if your business is there, no one can kick you out when the lease. Yeah. So now, like, you know, I was going up to like a lease renewal, and I wasn't sure if they were gonna renew my lease, because, like I said, it is a hot area. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, you know, what he's thinking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the owner, like my lease doesn't have a renewal clause.
Right.
But now I learned that after having the first shop, like, okay, you might, like, now when you sign a lease, you sign a renewal clause where they have to renew the lease with you before anyone else.
Okay.
So I took out the 3rd shop, not knowing, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, I don't have much money, but, you know, I care about my employees and I want to keep this going.
Yeah.
So I took out the lease right before my old shop, because I didn't
took a chance.
Yes.
That's about, like, you took a game. You was gambling.
So I put myself...
Checkers. Like, you know, you're like, whatever. I'm going to go for it.
I put myself right back in the hole that I just dug myself out. But I'm done. Like, I'm going to keep at 3 shops for now. Yeah. And then we're just going to work, like, up in a sense. Like, work on the websites.
Yeah.
The blog. You know, some more, like, less overhead, like, and just more, like, digital.
Yeah, so how do you... decide that? Do you just sit down? Do you have like an admin day every week that you sit down and you're like, okay, this week I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that? Like, how would a person that wants to have a business, be an entrepreneur like you, how would they go about?
I have this analogy, which is a pretty terrible analogy, but I'm like the most organized most unorganized person you probably know.
I wouldn't say that, because you got 3 shops, bro. So
I mean,
it wouldn't.
Or I could procrastinate a lot of things. I can say that.
But you gotta get done.
But I you know, like if there was an analogy, like it would be like 2 cars are driving.
Yeah.
I'm the drunk driver, but we still get home.
Right.
I might bang up some
You're still
things on the way
generating
there.
results.
Yeah, like I'm still banging up some cars or something, like,
Bumper cars, like.
but I'm gonna get to the goal. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like the other guy probably got there faster, but we still got to the same point.
Right. Okay. So you're still generating results. So that's what it's about.
So going back to you, like what you're saying, like I don't have like a set schedule. I don't.
You just kind of know when to just, or you're just like on the go, because you're on the go a lot, right? So
yes,
you're just kind of probably like working out of your phone, working out of
on my phone. Yes, right. On a laptop. Yes.
Right. Isn't that crazy how the time that we're in now that we could just work out of our out of our phones?
Manage inventory, everything.
It's insane, right?
Make my orders on the internet.
Wow.
I don't have to be at a distributor.
What a time to be alive.
Yes. A lot of opportunities.
What would be some advice that you would give to your younger self, if there is anything that you would tell younger Willow? What would you tell
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, yo, would I ever take, like, if I was able to, like, just to keep the one shop in my job, like, would I do this again?
Yeah. If
I could go back, and I think I'll do it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you would redo everything again?
Yeah, you go through, like, even though, like, I know what I went through, like, I don't know, like, it's just in me just to expand. You know, like, if I would tell myself, my younger self is just to be more organized. And I don't know whether you learned that at home or you learned that in school, but I just been organized. But now I'm getting better at it because, like you said, going back to you saying, like, I was cloudy for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I want to say I was depressed. I was going through a lot. Like I was broke. I was, you know, I had to work for money. So money was
some personal things going on.
Yeah, like you, like I would put myself, like I said, I was putting myself back in a hole I just came out of.
Right. Yeah. That will make you feel a type of way.
Yeah.
No matter what. So.
And especially not knowing like if you're gonna get a new lease or not.
Right.
So you're just like, wow, like every day you wake up, like.
How was it? You know, pulling yourself out of that space, and like, is it a mind shift or is it just you attempting to just get yourself, like, force yourself, or you just were at a point where you just shifted the way that you thought about the scenario?
I procrastinated a lot, which put me like a little bit in that scenario, and I was forcing my body, but mentally I wasn't there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like my body was functioning. I was going to work and stuff like that and doing things for the shops, but my mind wasn't there. But then I was things started turning around. Like you know what I mean? Like a store takes about a year and a half to make a profit. Yeah. So you know it was 2 years. Like I said, I was
time, man.
I was cloudy for 2 years because I wasn't making money yet. You know what I mean?
That's pressure.
And I was taking money from one shop and paying the other two shops.
Yeah.
So I was just digging myself in a hole.
It's just like making money to pay the other.
Yeah.
Like everything is just kind
taking
of paying
from Paul
itself
to pay
off.
Peter.
Yeah.
They say.
Wow, it's a lot.
So yeah, I was cloudy. So I was mentally, like somebody who was organized probably could have got out of that cloudiness faster, but just the person who I am, it just took a little longer.
But you got out of it, man, and
yeah.
We're proud of you for that, because you probably wouldn't be sitting here if you would have been like, I'm closing everything. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for keep going.
Everyone was telling me just close.
Thank you for keeping it going.
That was everyone's like solution to everything. Like just close one shop. You're okay with one and the other one's growing. Like why you need a third one for? But I was like, nah. You know, I'm here with $60 shoes. You know, sneakers.
Yeah.
You know, I don't drive a fancy car. I don't wear like expensive clothing. Like I'm making this sacrifice now, so later on I could benefit from it. Yeah, because I feel like that's coming. Like
it is going to come. It is, because you shall receive. You've been putting in that work, and you've been staying consistent, and you've been through the ups and the downs, and you know, I feel like I don't feel this is like I just know the universe eventually just is gonna reciprocate what you've been putting out. It's eventually, you know, you put in that work. It's not like you're just sitting, waiting, receive, you know? So it's going to come a point where you're going to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
And that's where like Fabricated Lifestyle comes in, because no one really sees the hard work. Everyone just sees what's on social media.
And that's why we're talking about it today, because I want people to know what it takes from the source to build your brand, to go through to go through bad times, to come out of that bad time. What would you say to your younger self? Like these are things that people don't talk about much, and there's a story and everything, and not everything is what you see on the internet.
No, not at all.
Not everything is the final result of a reel, or the 30 seconds that you see, or whatever cut and clip. There are a lot of sacrifices that go into these brands, and there are real people behind these brands that have real personalities and have blood pumping through their veins, and they're not robots. And people need to know that, because have you ever had a situation where like you're treated not as a person, like just as like I don't know, like if you not as a person, like kind of like you're a robot or something, like you just expected to function and not.
Oh yeah, of course. Like when
right.
people, when people ask me to do like print stuff for them and stuff like that, I don't like, I can't, I'm not like a robot like that. Like I'm not inspired by that. I do things for myself. Exactly. I'm not sure if I answered your question right.
Yo, you did. That's exactly, like, you're answering the question. Like, you have to have some kind of, I feel like just a hey, how you doing on the DM goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like the approach is everything. And
when we have events, when we used to have events in the past, like I'll personally DM people. Like I wasn't like just posting a flyer on my Instagram. Like I was like, hey, look,
actually building relationships, talking to these people directly.
I want to personally invite you to my event. And if you invite 500 people, 50 or 60 people are going to show up.
Yeah. But you got to put in that work and take that time out to actually do the event. And actually, let's talk about... You can even
like copy and paste the same message and just send them like, hey, like check out my event, come through. Like I want to personally invite you.
That's dope. That's cool. So do you guys, you have events that you curate with people that you know, right?
People we know, or artists that we scout.
And then you guys create these performances, right?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how these events come together and when the next one is.
We're working on the next one. It might be a smaller events what people are used to.
Okay.
But these events came out because there was a point in time like everyone was hiring pop-up shops. Pop-up shops were like the thing.
It was a thing.
Right before like before the pandemic, like a year or two before that. And everyone had their own pop-ups.
I remember walking in New York City and there was pop-ups just on the street everywhere.
Yes.
Pop-ups everywhere. It was a thing.
So we try to do everything. I wouldn't say better, but it's a competitive field. Mm-hmm. So we like try to do things better and have people have a good time at the same time. So we would select artists. We had 7 Tribes one time perform.
Shout out to 7 Tribes.
We had Roberto Mesa when he first started out performing. We had Marvelous Fame.
Okay. I know Marvelous Fame is. He's from West New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Marvelous.
So, we had some dope artists. We had artists from New York perform. But it was always like 2 or 3 artists, and we curate the event as well. We have like people who do art, have their art hung up on the studio. So
that's dope, man. I support all that type of stuff. That's cool.
Yes.
Stuff.
We had like live DJ. We had a host. Swazo used to be our host. We had all different kind of DJs from the local area. So yeah, people just come out to New York. People are like, oh, people in New Jersey don't want to come out. I'm like, nah, people will come out. You set up a dope event.
Listen, dope stuff just sells itself. Like cool things sell themselves,
and the personal invites. I'm telling you, like if you're having an event, you need to like DM people and like tell them like, hey,
put
look,
in that work.
Yeah, message them on Facebook if you still have Facebook. Like
promote yourself, invest in yourself.
Like people. Posting a flyer on your news feed, like no one's gonna really react to it.
Yep.
You just put, and then if you invite 100 to 200 people, 56 people will show up, and they're gonna bring their friends. They're not showing up by themselves.
Exactly, but that goes back to you people have to take as creatives, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as whatever venue we're trying to come, we have to invest in ourselves. We have to put in that time, because if we don't put in that time, that's what determines the value of whatever you're doing. Like what time you're putting in. What is it? 10,000 hours you're a master. I think we were talking about this yesterday.
We got 10 years, so I don't know. Hopefully,
I think you're a master, sir.
I'm hoping.
But So you have an event coming up. You got 3 shops in Puerto Rico. You got a podcast. You have a whole brand. So where can everybody find Fabricated Lifestyles? Like on the website, right?
On the website, the clothing website, we're very limited on items, but we have items on there. It's flsshop.com.
Okay.
And we're also working on, which is up, but we have very limited items. It's flssmokeshop.com. So you got like Delta 8 vapes on there, battery pens for your cartridges.
Y'all heard it. Y'all know what time it is. Support local, guys, please. These huge companies are making millions of dollars off of us. They don't even care about us. Let's put our money in the local businesses and the entrepreneurs and the people that really care about the people. Because if we grow each other's brands, we're stronger as a whole, right? And what is your Instagram handle? Let's tell the people where they can follow you.
Oh, my Instagram handle is Fabricated Lifestyles. It's a business page. It's under the title artist. Because I think I'm the artist. I'm the curator for the brand, the creative director.
Creative director. I love that. Well, you guys already know, man. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we get out of here?
Yes. How long you guys been podcasting for? Sabrosa Podcast.
I've known the guys since 2020, and I've been podcasting for 5 years.
Nice. And personally, I think it's great what you guys are doing. You're giving people a platform. That's kind of the sense I want to do with artists. Is like my shops are always available. You want to shoot a music video? I don't mind. It's open. Just DM me. But yeah, I think it's great what you guys are doing, and I hope people take advantage of the content.
Thank you so much.
And not just post it on their feeds, put some like promotional dollars behind it.
Thank you.
You know, get the reach out, just
invest in yourselves. People.
Exactly. And it could be $2 a day, like on Instagram, like, and it reaches like a large audience. Mm-hmm. That's $14 a week. You could cut back on the beer maybe, or on the blunt,
on the coffee, on the Dunkin', on the Starbucks, and invest in ourselves, right? And sometimes we have to make the sacrifices in little places to get results, or do things a little bit differently to get results. Because if we do the same thing over and over, you already know what that means. We crazy.
But I definitely appreciate you guys for inviting me over.
Thank you for coming, Willow. And you guys are going to see a special tour of Willow's New Jersey shop. You guys are going to see us, showing the shop and just showcasing his business. And not only the business, just him as an individual, as a person. Because we know that here it's a safe space, and we always want to create a realm for you guys to be able to come back with no matter what you guys have going on. Because,
now we're gonna work on something soon.
Area. Yeah,
we're gonna work on something real soon.
You guys already know I'm Steph, your host. I have to do a better job of saying I'm Steph, your host. Thank you for tuning in for another episode on the Sabrosa Podcast. We got Lito in the building on the camera and the sound today. Shout out to the team, Willow, me, Asher Recording Studios. We here. Peace.